loans instead of giving that money directly to students who need it, families who want to see a better life for the next generation. So millions of kids all across the country do that. It changes the fact that for the first time in our history, you don't have to hide who you love in order to serve the country you love. Because you don't have to changes healthcare reform that we passed after a century of trying, which means nobody will go bankrupt in this country just because they're sick. We've got 2.5 million young people who already have health insurance today because they can stay on their parents' plan. Millions of seniors who are already seeing benefits in terms of more preventive care, lower drug prices. Not only is preventive care now covered, it also means that families with children with pre-existing conditions aren't going to have to worry that somehow their child is going to be left on their own, or that they're going to have to mortgage their business, lose their home because of that illness. That's what changes. Changes fulfilling the first promise I made in this campaign, that we would end the war in Iraq. We do not have we made sure that Wall Street is playing by the rules, stabilizing our economy. All this happened because of your efforts. Now, the question is, what happens next? None of this has been easy. We've got a lot more work to do. There are still too many Americans out there who are struggling. Whose homes are underwater. We're still looking for work. Too many families right here in Chicago can barely pay the bills. Trying to figure out how they can scrap enough money together to let their kids go to college. But over the past 2 years, we've created close to 4 million new jobs. We've got the biggest growth in manufacturing since the 1990s. The economy is stronger, our exports are on track to double. Businesses feel more confident. So we've got an opportunity to build on all the work that we've done over the last 3 years. The question is, are we going to be able to stay on track and move in the right direction? Because the other side, they've got an entirely different idea. Their basic theory is that we go back to doing things the same way we were doing it before the crisis hit. Promoting the same policies that got us into this mess in the first place. And it's my belief that the last thing we can afford to do is go back to the same policies that got us into this mess. That's the last thing we can afford to do. But that's what they're talking about. Look, they're not making any secret of it. You can watch these ads on TV. You want to go back to the days when Wall Street played by its own rules? You want to go back to the days when insurance companies could deny coverage or jack up premiums without reason? They want to spend trillions of dollars more on tax breaks for the various wealthiest individuals, even if it means adding to the deficit or cutting things like energy or education, Medicare. We've got a simple philosophy. We are better off when everybody's left on their own. Everybody writes their own rules. They are wrong. In the United States of America, we have always been greater together than we are on our own. We are better off when we keep to that basic American promise that you can, and if you work hard, you can do well enough to raise a family and own a home, send your kid to college, put a little away for retirement. We're better off when the laws are applied fairly to everybody, not just some. And that's the choice in this election. This is not just another political debate. This is the defining issue of our time. because we are in a make-or-break moment. Not only for the middle class in this country, but everybody who's fighting to get into the middle class. We can go back to an economy built on outsourcing and bad debt and phony financial profits, or we can fight for an economy that's built to last. An economy built on American manufacturing, and American energy, and skills, and education for American workers. And the values that made this country great, made this city great, made this state great. Hard work and fair play and shared responsibility. That's what's at stake. And so over the coming months, we're going to have a great debate about whose vision will deliver for the American people. I think we need to make sure that the next generation of manufacturing takes root not in Asia, not in Europe, but in the factories of Detroit and Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Chicago. I don't want this nation to be known just for buying and consuming things. I want us to be known for building and selling products all around the world. This is why I said let's stop rewarding businesses that ship jobs overseas. Let's start rewarding companies that are creating jobs right here in the United States of America. We should be making our schools the envy of the world. And by the way, there's a Chicago export named Arnie Dunn who's doing unbelievable work at a national level. And he understands, as I understand it, it starts with a man or a woman at the front of the classroom. You know, a good teacher can increase the lifetime earnings of a classroom by over $250,000. So I don't want to hear Washington either defend the status quo or spend all their time bashing teachers. What Arnie and I have been talking about is giving schools the resources they need to hire good teachers and keep good teachers and train good teachers and reward the best ones and provide schools the flexibility to teach with creativity and passion and stop teaching to the test. And replacing teachers who are not qualified. That's what we expect. Reform, resources, accountability. That's what I'm doing. When kids do graduate, the biggest challenge they're facing right now is how to afford a college education. We've got more tuition debt now than credit card debt. Which means this Congress has to pay attention because in July, student interest rates on student loans are scheduled to double if we don't do anything about it. We've got to focus on how we're making sure our kids can get good value, that they're making informed choices, and that they're getting some help. And colleges and universities have to do their part. I've said to university presidents and college presidents, we want to work with you and help you. But we're not going to just keep on funding tuition rates that are skyrocketing. Higher education cannot be a luxury. It's an economic imperative that every family in America should be able to afford. An economy that's built to last is one where we support scientists and researchers trying to make sure the next breakthrough in clean energy and biotechnology happens right here in the United States of America. We've restored science to its rightful place. On things like stem cell research, we said, let's follow the science. But we also have to make investments in science. We have to make investments in basic research. Lincoln understood that. You understand it. Nowhere is that truer, by the way, than in the area of energy. We've been subsidizing oil companies for 100 years. Now's the time to stop subsidizing an oil industry that's rarely been more profitable. Double down on a clean energy industry that's never been more promising. That's what we believe. The other side has a different view. We believe we need to give our businesses the best access to newer roads and airports, faster railroads and internet access. You know, I'm biased. Maybe it's because I'm in Chicago. I believe in having the best stuff. I'm a chauvinist